Hi guys, welcome back to From Football to Football. Today I'm joined by Carlos García Fernández, a UEFA PRO coach currently working as head coach of Tainan City FC in the Taiwan Premier League, where his team is currently fighting for the title. In fact, at the time of recording, they are leading the league in the first position with only 4 games left to play. Carlos has taken a unique path into football, transitioning from a technical background into coaching and building his career from grassroots football in Spain to leading a professional team in Asia. In this episode, we go inside what it really takes to coach in an international environment, from tactics and leadership to the reality of communicating complex ideas in English. Carlos, great to have you on, mate.
Hi, how are you, Mike? Nice to meet you.
Well, mate, let's start from the beginning, yeah? Your path into football was not typical. How did you go from a technical IT background into coaching?
Well, somehow the history started when I met my wife in Spain. She's from Taiwan, and well, after a time we decided to move here to Taiwan to live, and it was here living in Taiwan when I was in contact with the background with people of related to football. And I always love this sport. So when we come back to Spain, I decide to be professional in this aspect and work very hard to start to build my career. And that's all. This is how we start.
Fant- Fantastic, mate. And your wife, so she's Taiwanese, yes? Does she speak Spanish and English and like how many languages does your wife speak? And what do you speak at home?
Well, at home we speak in English because somehow she was studying in New Zealand in the university for 8 years there, and it was well how she started to speak English, and when we meet each other we communicate in English. So this is why at home we speak English, but later in our environment with our son speaking Spanish, in Chinese, well, we have a mix of the 3 languages there.
Mate, so your son obviously has an advantage there. He's going to grow up with a lot of different languages. Fantastic, man. You have coached across different levels in Spain. What did those early years teach you about your identity as a coach?
Well, somehow my identity as a coach is more oriented to the positional play, to this kind of trend of football that is more similar to the football that we play in Spain from roots, and also well, when you study, also you have all the influence from the Portuguese school. When I start to study to be coach, also I have the chance to work like a coach in one school of Benfica. So somehow this identity of playing combining football based in positional play, this is the core. This is the core of the football that I like. This is the football that I'm trying to take here to Taiwan.
Yeah, I love this. And yeah, exactly what you just said brings me to my next question. That segues perfectly because you have combined analysis and coaching throughout your career, right? This is just the way that you are. And how does that like shape the way you see the game compared to other coaches? Because, there are different styles of coaching, right? And you were just mentioning that. How would you say that you're different in that aspect from another coach that really isn't as analytical?
Somehow I think that really need to understand the game later, especially when you are in a team and you want to develop the game style. First, you need to always start to understand and to know the profile of player that you have. And once you see and you realize what kind of player you have in from this point is when you develop the play style. And once you develop the play style, also you need to understand very well the game. And I think analyze and study games, that is the first thing that I start to do when I start to be professional coach. Also help you a lot to later, when you take your idea to the player, to the team, you understand better. And also when you are going to play the games, you really need this to understand how the rival play, to try to exploit their flows and to take advantage of your strength. So at the end, it's always like a competitive game based in strategy, and this is very, very important.
That's a really good answer, and it actually made me think of my last episode. I was interviewing a guy called Raul Naranjo. He's actually, coaching at the moment in Ireland, and he's like an analyst, at the moment. He does the technical analysis for the games, but his goal is to become, a head coach as well. And I'm thinking that, this is a really good actual step, a good pathway really for a coach to go through. As you just said, if you go from technical analysis, then you go into the head coach role, you understand the game, I think, probably from a whole another level, right? Is that what you're basically saying? It gives you a better overview of everything if you start as maybe a technical analyst and then go into coaching?
I think this is very important. It's like well, somehow, once you really understand all the phases of the game and you understand all the behavior and all the principle that you can appreciate and you can realize when you check another team, this is basic. This is basic because at the end, when you prepare a game and when you take your team to play, you really need to give the help to your players to take advantage and help them to win the game as much as possible. And all the information and all these flaws that you can check in the other team, anything that can help to your player to achieve their goal, to achieve the victory is always good. It's always good.
Mate, especially at that top level where it's just minute differences, isn't it? Those little differences can make all the difference. So that's a really good answer. I'd love to know, and I think everyone listening would love to know, how did the opportunity to go to Taiwan actually come about in the beginning? What happened?
Somehow from the beginning, it was something unexpected because, well, I started to be coach in Spain. I did all the levels of coaching, all the titles, the UEFA PRO. Also, last year I was preparing and I applied for the sport director, sport manager in the Football Federation of Spain. I was chosen for this to have this education, and it was amazing. And after all this period, I was a bit, if I'm honest to you, I was a bit tired. I want this year to rest a bit, to work like analyst, and to wait to see what happened, and in the future try to come to Asia. But somehow the opportunity came from here, from Taiwan, the team where I am. They were looking for someone to come to help. It's, sometimes in life the things come in an unexpected way, and you have to take the chance. And this is why I try to come here, and here we are.
Mate, it looks like you are in the right spot, mate, at the moment because you are doing a great job there, as we've mentioned in the introduction. What is the reality of coaching in Taiwan compared to Spain? Now, both on the pitch and off the pitch.
Well, on the pitch, the difference somehow is from the game point of view how teams play traditional here in Taiwan. More direct play, more physical play. So to the kind of play that we practice, we use more in Spain, more play more combining, more based in positional play, keep the possession, try to be vertical as soon as possible, but keep the ball. This is something that is quite different. Also, the profile of the players is different too. Here, the players are very, very disciplined, but also you really sometimes need to tell them exactly what to do. We came from an environment in Europe where players sometimes are more free to decide, or here you have to. But this is also good because when you teach them how to play in a specific way, they really follow the indications. So this is also good. And from the environment, well, also the management is something that is very different too. Somehow in at least in Spain, in Europe, the role of every manager, of every person in the staff is more defined. Here they are more traditionally working another way. So you can have this kind of hierarchy with the managers, but at the end, you adapt to them and they adapt to you. Somehow, sometimes could be a bit hard for you, the same that for them. But at the end, when everyone want to achieve the goal of win a championship or achieve the objective of the team, at the end, with good communication, with values, at the end, everyone go in the same direction and no problem.
That's great, man. And I think a lot of people listening would love to be in your position there in Taiwan, doing what you're doing. So I would love to give them the reality for a second here and ask you, as a head coach now in that team, what does your day-to-day actually look like? So how many times you actually train a week? What's it like, your day-to-day life living there in Taiwan at the moment in your position?
Well, here traditionally they train a lot, I can tell you. Like now, actually, when you organize the work for the year, the microcycle, the microcycle, when you organize how to work, you define the session. An example, normally depending on the day, every day you have to work a different conditional aspect. So we are organizing a way and controlling the time, the chart load very well. Here, traditionally, no. Traditionally, they are more like focus on work the physical aspect with not much control. So in this way, we found a balance here, like we train 5 days per week and apart with the day of the competition. And these days of training in the week, we divide the day because traditionally they train here morning and evening. So in the morning, we just go to the gym, we work in gym conditional aspect, and in the evening, we focus more in the tactical part and the normal training. All organized depending on the day of the microcycle, depending of like Tuesday, an example, we recover and activation, Wednesday strength, Thursday endurance. Every day the aspect that we need to work related to the tactical part too, because also every week, like an example, Tuesdays we review our last game. Wednesday we fix from our play based in our play style what we should improve or what we should correct. And later we study our next rival, analyze the rival, and prepare the game plan for the week with the set pieces and how to perform in all the phases. So at the end we organize well. At the beginning, it's hard for them to adapt to this because traditionally they didn't work in this way, but now they accept it and it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, man, your routine sounds very controlled and deliberate. Yeah, and obviously this routine, is working. So you wouldn't change a winning routine. It sounds like a great one, guys. If you want to take some tips, just listen to that again, and that's a really good schedule. I think it sounds great to me, man. Exactly what you just said. And you're currently, as we've mentioned this before, like top of the league with a very big game coming up. Okay, so on the 17th of May, everyone, please check the results because they are going to be playing against the second place team in the competition. This is huge, yeah? This is like a Man City Arsenal game. So, how are you managing that pressure now inside the team?
Good question. Good question. Well, I think that we need to focus in ourselves. We need to continue playing with our identity. We need to continue playing as we have been working all this year, adapting to our rival for sure, but game by game. Now we play this weekend versus AC Taipei. That is a very good team of Taiwan, very good team. And once we know them, we just need to be calm and focus and concentrated and don't think more. Just focus in this game and that's all. And now I can tell you that the players are very concentrated. Everyone is really fighting for to win this title. And also in the environment that we comment that it's hard to manage sometimes, everyone is also very motivated and rowing in the same direction. So I think that later the result will come or not, but at least we are preparing everything in a good way to reach our goal.
Saying you're controlling everything that's in your control, really, and whatever happens at the end of the day happens. But no regrets, man. That's great. And look, I want to go into something because we've been talking tactics, we've been talking strategy at the moment, but I want to go a bit deeper into something that you mentioned, well, we were both talking about when we spoke off air a few days ago, and that's the challenge of communicating ideas clearly in English, in an English speaking country. So I would love to know, man, when you are explaining a game plan or a tactical idea, what makes it difficult in English compared to Spanish?
Not only English. Imagine that here in our team we have mainly Taiwanese players, few understand English. We have a Brazil player, we have French player, we have Argentina, Korean, so different nationalities. So you have to try to explain everything in English, supported by your translator in Chinese. But something that really helped me is to support everything with multimedia. All the things that we have to review, everything with the multimedia really help because you can show them at least the basic point about what you are explaining in different language. So at the end, you can really see that everyone have the key points and you feel very nice. You feel very nice because when you go to the practice and later you go to the game and you see that it happens, you feel really, really nice.
Hey, mate, that is something, that is a key there, guys. I haven't had that mentioned on this program before, but everybody listening, I just want to repeat that because that's very important. He uses multimedia, guys, multimedia, so that you can, I'm guessing presentations, pictures, things like this, right? So people can see it, maybe even in their language. This is something that's super important too, guys, because I feel like a lot of footballers, myself included, we're very visual. And we're also very kinesthetic. We need to take action, but we also need to see things. And just hearing things probably didn't work for us at school very well. But yeah, seeing it does. And actually having multimedia there to explain these things to players in their language, in other languages. Guys, that's fantastic. Carlos, that's a really, really good tip there. Thank you for that, man. That was really, really good. Okay, you also mentioned the other day that sometimes you have to like simplify your ideas, okay? And depending also on the language level of the player, because I'm sure there are different levels of English too within your team, right? So can it sometimes feel like it limits you as a coach if you have this problem with simplifying your language? Is that something that you find?
Yeah, it's a bit challenging, but I can tell you at the end, if you see that the player don't have the idea, you can always use this kind of translator that you have in the team. But especially when you go to the grass, when you go to the practice, there in practice you can show too. So seriously, at the end, when you organize all the work very well and all the tasks very well, and you repeat, also in the pitch, I put my whiteboard there, and every task I paint the task there. I put every player, every position always, so they can check anytime. So at the end, you can help yourself with all the tools that you have around, and seriously, it was.
Mate, it sounds like you've got a plan A, plan B, plan C, just in case. Like if they don't understand this one, they've got this one. There's no excuse really not to understand for your players. And you've mentioned twice there the translator. I've spoken to other coaches about this, and I want your opinion on this. When you're working through a translator, how much control do you feel you actually have over your message?
I think you don't have so much control sometimes. You don't have so much control because sometimes if you give an example very, gonna say, very technical details or very specific, and maybe the translator don't understand very well. So you are always in this situation. This is why the more you can support yourself with other tools, always help.
Fantastic, man. Really, really good. This is gold. I would also, I'd be amiss like not to ask you this question because this is something that's coming up a lot when I'm speaking to people. And they mention not just the language side of things and not just the adaptation side, but the cultural differences. That is something that I think a few people underestimate. Now, how important is it to actually learn and know the cultural differences when you get to a country? To be like, what difference does it make? Is it that important? I'd love to know your opinion on the cultural differences between, yeah.
It's very important. It's very, very, very important. It's very important because different culture, different values, and even in the daily work. An example, you're working in Spain, you can talk with other members of the staff in a very close way, no problem. In this culture, an example, you have to respect this hierarchy so much. So you really need to respect the higher position. So you also need to respect the all the tasks that the previous email that you come here and you know how to work, how to organize all the tasks in a efficient way, and they have another way to do because the tradition. So you cannot come directly and change everything. You have to slowly check how they do and day by day slowly explain to them. And at the end, when they see that the idea is to make the things work worth and to achieve our goal together, at the end, no problem. But it's difficult. It's difficult and need time.
And to learn those, yeah, I want to know, like, how do you learn those cultural differences? Is it just going there and learning by trial and error, or did you read up before it, or what do you suggest a coach who's imagine they're going to work in China? How could they learn these cultural differences before they go?
Well, in my defense, I have to say that here in Taiwan, it was quite not so difficult for me because my wife is from here, from Taiwan. I already was living here 1 year. I have been coming here to Taiwan several years. So I was in contact with the culture. But even of this, in the daily work, you need to adapt to them. You need to adapt to them always with respect because it's it's so different.
Jeez, yeah, okay. I think that's just a good default mode for any coach going to another country. Always show a lot of respect until you see you can be more casual, maybe, and more relaxed. Right? The first default, respect, respect. Everything's going well for you at the moment, Carlos. But there's a question that I really want to ask, which is, what has been the most difficult moment of your career so far?
The most difficult moment, well, for me somehow was when I start to coach here because I didn't start from the preseason. I start to rule the team in November. So when you didn't have time to specifically design how you want the team to play, you don't know the player, you don't know the environment. When you have to make something work properly and you didn't have time to prepare, it's hard. It's hard. This was really hard because how can I say to you? It's not like I came here to build my house from zero. No, they give you a house and you need to try to fix it. But
Yeah.
I have to. It was really hard, but I was lucky because here in Taiwan the competition stopped in January, so I have my pre-season in January, and it was good because in that time I can start to make the all the job from zero, and this is why now we are doing better.
I'm sure any coach listening understands that taking over a team like halfway through or midway when you don't have the chance to prepare them is so hard. And that analogy you gave was so good about, yeah, it's not like making your own house. It's like you're given a house that's already been built, but not just that. It's like you've been given this house and there are already people living in that house that already have their customs, and you just need
Exactly.
to try to help them adapt to live better. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, that's a tough one, man. If you could go back, this is a little hypothetical question now, okay? If you could go back to when you first left Spain, what would you do differently, if anything? Would you do anything differently to make your career easier or quicker or in any way?
I don't I don't think I will change many things. Actually, I try to prepare as much as possible before I came here to Asia. Actually, I told you before, I came before I expected, but at the end is when you come here and you face the problem and you face the day by day is when you have to learn and you have to adapt. And I think not many things, not many things. Maybe yes, maybe I don't know. Try to train in another countries before, but no, I think
Carlos, I
when the
was
thing come
expecting
like
that
this,
answer.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
expecting that from you, man, because the little I know of you already from our last chat from today, I can see you're a very prepared person. Okay, you're someone that prepares a lot, and like we were saying this session, plan A, plan B, plan C. It's like you're very organized. Yeah. So yeah, I thought you would say that. You were probably already organized and prepared before you came. So absolutely. If a coach is listening to this now and wants to work abroad like you, wants to follow in your footsteps, what advice would you give them?
I will say to them, always be honest, always work really, really hard. If you work hard, you will have the respect of everyone, and you need to work hard because it's very challenging. And also try to have a strong identity. Have your own identity. Try to don't copy others. Try to propose the play that you want and you like, and and that's all. That's all. Be yourself. Be yourself and work hard and respect, I will say.
So be yourself, guys. Be yourself. Work hard. Absolutely, yeah. You got to work hard in this game. Yeah, have your own strong identity. This is a great one. And if someone were to ask you, Carlos, what is your identity when, as a coach, as how you play the game? What is your identity? I would love to know.
Very basic. Based on the always on the player that you have, and my identity is that the my team really identify what the team have to do in all the game phases. Attacking, transition, defending, set pieces. That in all the phases of the play, the team know how to position, know what to do, what the behavior they have to. Because I can tell you, my team now is playing as it's playing because I have this kind of player. I cannot guarantee you that if next year I go to another team, another kind of player, another profile, my team will maybe will not play the same system, will not play. But the core, I try always this is true, to base my team in the positional play, to control the ball and try to be as vertical as possible and try to recover the ball as faster as possible. This is the core.
That's a really, really good answer. A really good answer. And for your team to know how to play in all the different phases, know what their roles are. It's something came to my mind when you said that. I'm actually a big Man United fan, Manchester United, and Carrick is doing a good job at the moment of recording. But the previous coach was Amorim, yeah, and Amorim did really well in Portugal, and I think he is a very good coach, like from the outside. But one criticism that everybody had of him was he was not adapting his style. He took the same style, the same formation, and didn't matter if they lost, he just kept going with the same formation all the time. And they said they don't have the players to play this. It's not the players. And you're saying you change, basically your system is designed around the players that you have, which I feel is a lot more logical, for some reason. But anyway, not everyone will agree, but I think that's pretty logical. Now, just I would love to know to finish off for the future. Your plans for the future. I think you mentioned in our last conversation something about Japan, but I just want to clarify that. So everybody listening, let's see what Carlos would love to do in the future.
Well, in the future, I just want to continue always growing, working hard, and yes, I would love to continue like coaching in another countries, and of course, I would like to reach a like high level league in Asia, like Korea or Japan. And after this, if I can come back to Europe, perfect. But step by step. Now we are here. We are doing very well. We want to continue here, but in a future we can grow. Perfect.
Perfect, mate. You've got a very Simeone mentality, just game by game, like don't go too far
Yeah.
ahead, game by game, right?
It's like this. It's like this.
It is, Carlos. Oh, such a good talk today. Everybody, listen to this again because there were so many good keys there. If you want to go overseas, and this is someone who is actually doing it and actually doing it at the top level. Like he is coming first. His team I honestly, I think this team will win, but let's not go ahead of ourselves. But they are winning at the moment, and whatever happens, they've had a great season. So, Carlos, really appreciate you coming on today. This was a brilliant insight into what it actually looks like to coach at a high level abroad, especially the reality behind the communication, leadership, adapting to a completely different environment, a completely different team. I'm sure a lot of coaches listening to this will take a lot of value from it. Thanks again for your time. And for everyone listening, please don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and I'll see you on the next one. Carlos, have a great one, mate. See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
Bye, mate.
Bye bye.